Hi guys, so behind me is a chicken house, a pretty long chicken house. In fact, 220 meters in length, yeah? Crazy long chicken house. Now, this is the breeder farm where we do raise the breeder chickens. And this is just one of the ways that you can build a chicken house. Now, if you're thinking to yourself that, hey, Dr. Daniel, the title of this video is, building a cheap chicken house. How the hell do you call a 220 meter long structure a cheap chicken house? Well, in today's video, I'm actually going to be sharing with you tips which you can use to minimize the expense of, the chicken houses on your farm, so that, you can earn as much as possible with as little initial input as possible. And then maybe later on, you can advance to all the fancy stuff and all the fancy types of structures. So as you can see, it's quite bright over here. So I'll move inside the chicken house and I'll tell you exactly about it right there. So come on, let's go. So, it's really bright. You can see that, we have a guy with a machine slashing around, and yeah, we'll just get in. As you can see, the chicken house is empty. So this is, one of the food dips at the entrances before entering. So usually this place would have water with a disinfectant and all that kind of stuff. And then you get in, inside the chicken house. So this is what it looks like on the inside. So as you can see, it is empty. Yeah, so we don't have any litter down here. We don't have any litter on this other side. All the equipment has been raised right here. And it's very beautiful inside here. So, but first I'll tell you how we actually came up with these chicken structures and this type of chicken structures right here. The fundamentals and the things that you need to know starting out right at the very beginning is that there are some things which are like the core things when it does come to raising chickens, yeah? What are the core things when it does come to raising chickens? Number one, you must have the chickens themselves. Very important. If you don't have chickens, then you're not doing poultry farming. That's the first thing. Number two, you must have the poultry feed available for the chickens, and it must be good poultry feed. It must be able to meet the nutritional requirements of the chickens and serve them. So if you're raising broilers, that's birds for meat, it must be able to, ensure that the birds attain the weight that they're supposed to attain. If you're raising birds for layers, for eggs, that's layers, then the feed that you're providing the birds should also be able to ensure that the birds produce optimally, perfect production. So if we expect the birds to be at 95%, let them be at 95, Let them not be at 80, let them not be at 85. Let them be as close to 95 as possible. That is the second thing. Now, those are like the principal fundamental things. The next most important thing is the environmental condition or the environment in which you place the birds, yeah? Now, notice that I very specifically didn't say the house or the chicken house or, the building of the chicken house, but it's the environment, yeah? So what are the things that you pay a lot of keen attention to when it does come to environment? We talk about things like, ventilation. So you want to make sure the place is well ventilated so that the chickens inside the house are comfortable, so that they are not struggling, they're not suffering, they're not having any problems breathing because, it's well ventilated. Number two, we want to make sure that the house is protected, or wherever they are staying is protected from bad weather. Let's say just call it bad weather, yeah? So that's too much sunshine, too much rainfall, hailstorms, a lot of violent wind. That kind of stuff is protected from the birds, because if the birds are in such a position where they are undergoing all these things, then they are too stressed out, yeah? They are too stressed out for them to be comfortable enough to focus on their fundamental task. What is the fundamental task? If it is broilers, it is putting on weight so that they reach the target weight as quickly as possible. And if it is layers, getting as many eggs as possible. So if the wind, if the rain comes and hits them, of course they can survive those things. If the sunshine comes and it's blowing on them, then they're having to deal with too much temperature changes. They're having to deal, with a lot of cold, and then they won't focus on the production, yeah? So that's the second thing, the environment, protection from, terrible weather. Third thing is that you must protect them from theft. Yeah, people who want to come and steal the chickens and all that kind of stuff. If you protect the birds against that and you protect them from theft, then, you're comfortable because you don't want to invest so much money into your farm. You don't want to invest, $10, $20, $30,000 into your farm, and then you just have a random person come and, steal them from you, yeah? Now, once you do have that available, then we'll go on to the third level. What is the third level? The third level is, the requirements that the birds need in order to be able to, live the kind of life that they do require. We'll literally call them equipment, yeah? So equipment involves things like the feeders, it It involves things like the drinkers. So if you guys can see just behind me, you can see both feeders and drinkers hanging up inside the chicken house. Yeah. It also involves things like, laying boxes. As long as you're not raising your birds in cages, most probably you're going to need laying boxes. Yeah. Those are the kinds of things that you need to focus on. So then, when you're starting out a farm, the most important thing you need to understand, or the thing that you need to pay a lot of keen attention to, is that your effort and the money that you're going to be putting in needs to be put in those things in decreasing order, starting with level number 1, level number 2, and level number 3. Yeah. So first of all, most of your money needs to concentrate on getting the best quality of birds that you can get. That's number 1. But number 2, also in getting the best type of feed for the birds. Yeah. So get the best feed for the birds at the least cost that you can. Get the best quality of birds at the least cost that you can. That's literally where all your money should be going. Like, the biggest percentage. I wouldn't say all your money because all the other things are required. But I mean, those are the things that you need to concentrate on. Now, after you move to that, we go on to the environment. Now, the environment is what is required. The chicken house is not the environment. Yeah. The chicken house simply creates the environment. I mean, chickens are not like human beings. Yeah. Human beings, I mean, for me, for example, I could want a particular house. You guys might notice that I'm sitting down on sacks. Yeah, because I mean, it's a really hot day and there's nowhere for me to sit inside here. These bags, these are just bags that have, other bags inside here. Yeah, so I'm just, sitting down here just to be a bit comfortable. Yeah? So chickens don't care what the chicken house looks like. They're not like human beings. They're not like me right here who will be seated somewhere and I'll be like, whoa, I want a nice, comfortable house with white walls, with AC on the inside. Or maybe you're somewhere and you're like, I want a nice grass-thatched house with all this kind of stuff. No, the chickens don't care. As long as the environment is comfortable enough inside. So as you can see, I'm seated right here. I have, nice fresh air coming in. When it rains, the rain will not pour on me. The sunshine is not pouring on me. It's not burning me. I'm comfortable. Yeah, that's what chickens require. When the chickens do get that, then they're going to literally do whatever else they want because all they need to do is eat and drink. For them, that's what they care about. Yeah. Am I eating? Am I drinking? And am I going to sleep in a proper place? Plain and good. And of course, as long as I'm not having vices, so I'm not having other chickens pecking on me, I'm not having all this chaos, the birds are comfortable. That is the most important thing. So then, how do you get yourself to that point? How do you get yourself, to a point where you're comfortable enough, or you're getting the chickens a point or a house which is comfortable enough? Yeah. Remember that you're starting out. You want to reach a point where the farm is actually running its own finances, where the farm is in a state where it can fund itself to do everything that it can. So then it requires that the best thing you can do is use as cheap as the raw materials you can get to build the chicken house, as long as the chicken house meets the requirement of the birds. Yeah. So number 1, when it rains, the rain won't pour on them. When the winds come, they won't be terrible. They won't throw the chicken house down. So the chicken house needs to be strong. When it's sun shining, the sun won't burn them. And there's enough ventilation inside the chicken house. That's all you require, yeah? And then another thing which I feel like is really important is the ability, or your ability to clean the chicken house, yeah? To clean it during the different cycles. What that means is that if you can spend as little as possible on building the chicken house, then you're in perfect hands, yeah? So for me personally, what I did is, if you guys can see this chicken house, right now it has, bricks at the bottom. We built it with, even the pillars, nice bricks, pillar bricks. But initially, even for this chicken house, when I was starting out, we built them using iron sheeting. Proper iron sheeting, I mean, nothing else, but just iron sheeting. It was iron sheeting at the bottom and then wooden posts. Just like the wooden posts you can see right here in the middle, the whole house along all the sides, that's what was supporting it. Wooden posts and iron sheeting. Now, of course, the biggest problem with using wooden posts and iron sheeting is that it might not last too long. Iron sheeting certainly can last quite an amount of time, but the wooden posts might not last, a long period of time. They certainly won't. So, I mean, you need to make sure that you replace them depending on where you're located. This farm where it's located, we have a lot of termites. Yeah, so termites are a big problem here. So you want to make sure that you build your chicken house. If you do have any wood or anything like that, it is protected. You're galvanizing it, protecting it against termites. Sometimes it's too expensive, so the posts might not last long. So if they last a bit long, you need to make sure that you're ready to replace them. Yeah, that is the first thing. But initially, that's what I did. So I built like 4 houses all of them made from iron sheeting material and poles. And we were like, why the hell? I mean, you're investing all this money into chicken houses, you're investing all this money into chickens, and you're building your house using material like this. I mean, why not use, you know, the best material that you can utilize? And of course, that logic makes some sense at a particular point. But the farm needs to get to a point where it's making money, yeah? Every point that you don't have chickens on the farm, every point that you're not feeding the chickens on the farm, you're losing money. That is the plain simple thing. You're losing money, you're not getting the opportunity to actually move forward. So personally, what I believe in is start the farm, get the farm running, start getting in money, and once you start getting in money, you can slowly start replacing this stuff, yeah? I mean, on my commercial layer farm, my chicken houses, I mean, those houses can last 10, 15 years. In this area, these houses couldn't last 10, 15 years because of the termite problem that's over here. And so because of that, we had to replace them after like 2 years. So after 2 years, we started replacing the poles. And it's interesting because we didn't need to throw down the chicken house. We just went and replacing the points where we did have poles. We just built pillars, plain and simple. The roof remained, everything just remained. We just started replacing them from the bottom and moving upwards. Now in the middle, we still have these poles inside here. And it's not the best idea, but we're going to replace them with time. We'll probably start with the middle line. As the money comes in, we keep building them and replacing them. And in the end, the chicken house ends up costing only probably less than half what it would have cost initially if we had built everything out, you know, the best way that we could starting out. It probably costs half or less than half of what it would have cost before. And that becomes a huge, huge lifesaver. I mean, you get to save a lot and a lot of money doing the chicken houses this way, doing the chicken structures this way, because it's just much cheaper starting out, yeah? So personally, the thing that I do believe in is that when you're starting out with your chicken houses, use the raw materials or the equipment that can ensure that you only need to invest as little as possible while starting out in the structures themselves. I mean, in the equipment that you're utilizing. Let most of the money be spent on good quality chickens and good quality feed. And then later on, you can do whatever else you want. I mean, you can do whatever else you want. You can build marble houses, you can build gold-plated houses because you do have the cash flow, you have money coming in. Before you get to that point, I recommend that, you know, you just don't. Just don't, yeah? Now, building chicken houses and all this kind of stuff, just only one small tiny aspect of you actually starting and building a proper poultry farm, yeah? There's way more, there are different elements. There's, you know, doing a business plan. You'll have things like, you know, proper animal care. Actually, animal care is also very, very important. You need to understand how to do proper animal care. And actually, I've made a free class, I'll leave it in the description below, about how to do proper animal care. Yeah, beautiful, very great class, way more than what I would talk about on this YouTube channel. So you can click right there, go check it out. It's free, completely free, and it's going to give you all the knowledge that you do require. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, smash the notification bell, that we never miss out on an upload. Catch you very soon with another video. Lots of love. Bye-bye.